guys, welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 video. So today we'll be talking about World versus World and how you can be successful in your fights and how you can have a better experience in it. So there are three indicators that I want to talk about in order for you to have a better experience, and the first one is your home server being the top most points. If your home server is the lowest points like what I have now, you'll find yourself that you'll most likely be outnumbered most of the time, so you probably won't have a better experience here. So I try to avoid being in World versus World at these conditions. You can let your server guilds, your World versus World server guilds, fight for the points, and then once they rack up enough points, then you can start joining them. I don't want to sound like a leecher or anything, but because if we're solo players. If we're solo players, we want to have a good time, right? We want to be able to fight blobs without dying, and the best way to do that is to just look at your World versus World points and see if you are on top. The reason for that is because when you have a lot of points versus the other team, that means that there are more players in World versus World and that you are overtaking a lot of objectives without fail, and that means your population in the World versus World is higher than the rest of the server, so you won't be outnumbered. So in order to prove that, right now we are what? The lowest of the three, right? So that's why I have a outnumbered symbol over here. We're not going to have a good experience if we're going to jump into this solo. If you are in a World versus World guild, that's totally different because you are more coordinated, and so you will be able to raid better. But for solo players like me and everyone who's watching this video, maybe, I don't know, yeah, if you want to have a better time, you want to look for this first indicator that your home server has the most points. The second indicator is having a commander in Eternal's Battleground. Why I say Eternal's Battleground instead of the other three, it's because that the other three is normally for private guilds that are overtaking these borderlands. So an exception is your home borderlands. Sometimes in general, the commander from the Eternal, the public commander, let's say, from Eternal Battlegrounds will jump into not Henge of the, but your home borderlands to defend a point because the other server is trying to overtake it. So you're gonna see from time to time your commander from Eternal's Borderground switching over to the home borderlands map to protect the home borderlands. For the other two, it's mostly for private guilds that are just roaming around and overtaking things quietly, so you probably won't even see a commander's tag on there because they want to do things stealthily, and so let them be. So if you're solo, you want to be in Eternal's Battlegrounds and follow the commander if he jumps to Borderlands to defend, or he comes back to Eternal to start overtaking things. So that's the second indicator. The third indicator is your Stone Mist Castle. So if your Stone Mist Castle is overtaken by your home server, then you will most likely have the best time of your life because you have access to your enemies' towers and camps much easier because you are able to overtake these towers by shooting things from your Stone Mist Castle, and then you could just rush in there and kill things, and then you could overtake the camps, and then you go after the keeps afterwards. Is that a keep? Yeah, it's a keep. And yeah. Also, if you have overtaken the Stone Mist Castle, that means that your population is good, and that also means that you would be able to travel faster, especially if you're in T3. T3 Stone Mist Castle, that means you will have a waypoint to waypoint. In order for you to get to T3, you're gonna have to defend this point a lot of times until the supply on the map matches or go over a threshold, and then it will upgrade itself. So you want to keep your supplies coming from your camps, like these green caverns. They're gonna go to your Stone Mist Castle and they're gonna give it supplies, and if you have enough supplies in it, it will upgrade itself to T3. There's I think it's T3. If it's not T3 or T4, just comment below. I might have made a mistake, but yeah, again, those are the three indicators that will make your World versus World experience better. Let's summarize. First, you want to have the highest points because, again, population. You're going to have a higher population and you're going to have more people in your blob to overtake smaller blobs. So your fights will be a lot easier since you have more people. The second is having a commander to guide you to where to go in Eternal's Borderlands. So if you do not have a commander, so for me at least, for a solo player, if only one of the conditions matches, I still won't play World versus World. There it has to be two of the conditions. The important two conditions are your points has to be the first, and you also have a commander in Eternal Battlegrounds. The Stone Mist Castle can wait because your commander can probably overtake it with the population that you will have during this fight. So, but like, if you have all three, then of course that's gonna make your experience better because you're gonna have a different situation, and you will be overtaking more towers than your focus is on the castle. So again, I think that's all I have for today, and hopefully this tip will help you out if you want to enjoy World versus World for the first time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you learned something, and I don't want people to think that I am trying to flood World versus World with a bunch of PvEs and then they end up not doing their part, and then the people who are really World versus World intensive, they're gonna complain that all these PvEs are coming to World versus World just leeching off the thing. But hey, if you want people to be more engaged into a game, into a gameplay or your world, you might as well like adopt these people that are trying to learn and trying to play and trying to have fun, right? You don't discourage someone for not for being bad at the server. Just encourage them. If they have the wrong build, tell them nicely, like, hey, you gotta have a specific build for World versus World in order for you to actually do something for the team. So yeah, again, that's another good point. If you are gonna jump into World versus World, make sure you have the correct build for World versus World, because if you have PvE gear, which is mostly Berserker or full Condi, it might not work effectively in World versus World depending on your class. So you want to check metabattles.com to see what builds you have, what builds they have for offer in World versus World. That's just in general, and then you can mess with it later. That suits your playstyle. And yeah, hopefully you'll be able to contribute into World versus World, and we'll see the population in World versus World grow more, so that instead of seeing that only private guilds will overtake the enemy's camp, but instead public guilds will invite solo players to take over these other borderlands that are in the enemy side, instead of all being concentrated in Eternal Battlegrounds. Also, another thing, if you find that your home server doesn't have enough population, no matter the time of the day, I suggest maybe just transferring server into one of the T2s, T1 servers to actually have a population that you can go with. My home server, as you know, is Henja Davari, so I normally get a lot of population in my server, so I'm happy with that. It's fine. Dragon Man is also good too. And yeah, so if you guys learned something, just let me know down below. If you like the video, and hopefully this tip helps you out, and hopefully I'll see more of you guys in World versus World, just having fun, playing it like the game was meant to be played. And maybe you will have fun getting your gift of battle instead of just being a chore. So yeah, I think that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully I didn't miss out anything. If I missed out something, then I have to redo this whole video. I already redid this video like 3-4 times. I don't want to redo this video. I'm just gonna upload this, alright? So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.